Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I have an interesting video for you today. I want to share with you the very popular UCO original candle lantern. I really like these. Been using them for a couple months and I'm telling you, I'm impressed. These things work really good. So let me take a look and read the package a little bit. This one collapses to a compact size for transport, 6.4 ounces, and that's with the candle. And if you're getting a brass one, it's 8.8 ounces. And then it talks about the spring-loaded candle design that keeps the flame height consistent, or constant I should say, while a small viewing window shows how much candle remains. Now I'll talk about that in a little bit. Will not rust. This is a stainless steel heat shield and an aluminum body. These are made in Seattle, so these are American made. Gosh, I'm really excited about this. Steel bell for carrying and hook for hanging. These are really cool. UCOgear.com. First thing you're going to see is your owner's manual. Now this is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not gonna open the owner's manual. There's nothing else in the box. So there you go. So you can see that the bell sits around the bottom. You can move the bell out of the way, and you can use this to carry your candle. Now what's really cool about this is there's also a hook here. Very good quality. And this is really good quality stuff. This chain is not weak. It's a very strong chain. There's a look at the candle. There's a look at the sight glass. I'll talk about that in a minute. So basically what happens here is you pull this upward. And I'm kind of wiggling it. And what it'll do is it'll expose the globe. It'll raise the globe up into position. See that? Then all three sides kind of lock into place. Nothing too crazy. And you can see the candle inside. Now what's really cool about this going down is it protects the globe. So if you were to have the globe in this position all the time, that globe would be at risk of getting damaged or broken. In fact, the last one that I received, where is it? Right here. Same thing, but the when it showed up on arrival, the globe was broken. So when you open this up, this bottom portion here twists open, and then you can take this portion out. There's the body. You can see the body. That looks like a flame spreader almost that you would see on a stove, doesn't it? Looks like a flame spreader. That's stainless steel, by the way, this piece here. So this is the magic of the candle. So you basically what you have happening here is if you twist this like this, you'll see that there's a spring and this little piece of aluminum. Okay? And then inside there's nothing else. This is a nice aluminum housing. And so what happens here is you take your candle and you stick it, and they fall right in. I mean, they fit very well. Then you take the aluminum, you put it on top of the spring, and then you put that spring inside, just like this, see? So you have the aluminum with the bent side up towards the spring, so that the spring will have something to ride in. And then you find the little groove, and then you lock this in place. Now what that does is that constantly pushes the candle upward. Now I'm going to go ahead and light this. It's a little bit windy today, and that might be a good thing for the video because it'll probably show the difference of one that's lit versus one unprotected versus one that's protected. So I'm going to go ahead and light this one. Hopefully it'll stay lit. Okay, you can see how much trouble it's having. Let me open this one up. I'll light this one for the first time. It does come with the candle, as you can see. So the brand new candle, again, it's the same idea. But the part that I like so much about these is the fact that they keep the flame at the same height. So instead of your candle burning down, like a normal candle would burn down, these ones burn up. And I think that's really, really cool. Let's go ahead and see if I can't get this baby lit. Because this wind is not cooperating. But that's actually pretty good for this video today, because it gets to prove my point. My point is, once you get it in this housing, it's protected by the globe. See that? Now, of course, this wick is, I'm going to lock this into place. This wick needs to burn down a little bit. And in the meantime, take a look at this too. I'm going to let this wick burn down. And this is pretty cool. There's 3 different types of candles that I've found that you can get for these little UCO lanterns. This is the Citronella. These are currently $6.36 for 3 of them, 9 hours a piece. So you get 27 hours of burn time. 3 white ones, which are currently $3.91. That's pretty good price. And again, they're 9 hours a piece, 27 hours. And then the last one is the beeswax. These ones are expensive, $11.96 currently. They last 12 hours a piece, so you get 36 hours of run time. This is the one that comes with the candle when you buy it. So again, you have 9 hours, 9 hours, and 12 hours. If you can find one of these small alcohol shot glasses, you know, this was like a Parrot Bay or something, it had an aluminum lid. I put some lamp oil in there, and I put a piece of cotton string. And if you haven't seen how to do that, I have a video where I'll show how to do that. I'll put it in the description box down below where you can take a look at that video. What's so neat about this is as the candle burns, it heats up this aluminum and it melts the wax, and the wax is constantly forming to this piece. So as the wax burns, it just pushes this candle up and up and up and up and up, and that's what the sight glass is for, because you can see how much candle you have left. See, it's barely showing right there. There's also another little candle that I made on my own, just messing around. You can see that that thing is burnt way up. So there's a kind of a look at what the sight glass will look like. And this thing's burned for quite some time. This little candle that I made. It's just that same cotton string that I use now. If you want to use one of these in your candle, you have a couple of options that I'll show. You have the first option, which is to use everything the way it's supposed to go, just like the candle. Okay, so you can put this spring on there, put that little aluminum piece, and what'll happen is it'll sit real high. And then when you put, you can't close this too, by the way. You have to leave it open. So then, pretending that we have glass in there, that's about the height of what your flame would be. Okay, something like that, which is kind of high. So what I like to do when I'm going to use oil is I like to take the spring out, and the little, I like to leave this little thing out also. You unhook this spring from this little housing. It just fits in these little lips right there. So you take the spring out, then you set this candle in there just like this, and it sits nice and low, so that the height that you get at the end is almost the same height as what you get here. So now you have an oil burning option. See that? Now, of course, it's not going to burn very good because it doesn't have a globe, but you can get kind of a feel. It just went out, but you can kind of get a feel of what that would look like. And believe me, they work good. And those little oil candles that I make like that right here, they last a long time with that amount of oil. So we'll go ahead and light this baby up. So there you have it. You can see how well that would work. And you can adjust the height of your wick on your oil candle to allow for how high a flame you want or how much light you want. And it works really well. If you have a high flame like this, you will get a little bit of soot buildup on the bottom of this flame spreader, I guess I want to call it. You get a little bit of soot on there. See, the flame is real high right now. So if I lower this down, blow it out for a second, and then if I can lower this wick just a little bit or cut it, it'll make a smaller wick, which will in turn make a smaller flame. So you see, I have a smaller flame. I didn't lower the wick that much. Now, one thing that I really like about these candles is this aluminum body, because if you get wax on this thing, which can happen, you can see it was about to spill over right here. When you take the candles out, if you have any kind of wax or anything like that, sometimes you get like a wax buildup. All you need to do is take this piece here and put it in some boiling water, and it'll take that wax off right away. Get you an old some kind of metal little hook, like a, I don't know, a paper clip or something, to reach down in that water and grab it and pull it out, and all the wax that gets built up on here will come off. Now you can see that when you insert the Citronella candles, they stick up out the top, just like the white ones do. They stick up out the top. That's the way they come. But if you do the beeswax candles, they actually start really nice and flush, which I think is super, super, super cool. So that's a look at those candles. It's cool, like I mentioned earlier. It's really neat because your wax isn't coming down like a normal candle would. Your wax is actually being pushed up. I think that's super, super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out, and I'm going to put the wax back in. If you can find a glass bottle, that's even better. So if you can find a glass bottle, it's even better. Because sometimes these little lids get hot and they will melt the plastic a little bit. So I got to insert the little spring back in. It's not that big of a deal. It just kind of fits like in this little groove here. And then you just pop it in, there it is. Spring fits on just like that. So it's very simple. So even if you look at the one that I built, you can stick that baby in there. Put your little piece in there. Make sure that you put it with the bent side towards the top or bottom, because you want it to go onto your spring. So there you have it right there. This candle normally lights very quickly. Now I want to show you another accessory that I really like. See, so there it is. And on the back again, you can see the window that tells you how much wax you have left, how much life you have left in the candle. What I'd like to show you now is this little piece here. There's two pieces of metal, and they're very sharp. They're very thin. They're stainless steel metal, and they have little rivets on them. You can see I have two of them. What happens here is these things will fit together. So your little rivets here will go together just like this, just like that, and then you'll do the same thing on this other side. So you'll kind of bend it down just like this. You can see kind of what's happening here. Get it just like that, and then when you lift the bell, you can correspond these little grooves. See those little grooves on the side? They correspond to this bell. So now you have a lampshade. So not only do you have a nice candle burning, but you have a lampshade as well. So if you're in a tent, this will kind of reflect the light downward so that you can read a book or something like that. Looks pretty cool. Gives you a little bit of a bell option. It gives you a little bit of a reflector. So if you wanted to read a book or something at night in the tent, you can do that. What's really nice about these candles in a tent is the fact that they give you some heat. So if you're doing any kind of like winter camping in a tent, this thing puts out, it gives you a BTU rating on the box here. 1900 BTUs of heat. Right there. 20 lumens of light, which isn't a lot, but that's more than a headlamp will do. Headlamp doesn't have any BTUs towards heat, although the lumen ratings are a lot higher on a headlamp. So I think that's pretty cool. So you have that little reflector. That's what it looks like with the reflector on it. Another part that you can get that's pretty cool is you can get one of these neoprene cocoons. Neoprene case. Help prevent your glass from breaking. So let's take a look at this, see what it looks like. Open it up, stick that baby down in there. Yeah, check that out. Make sure it's not hot, which it's not. Wow, look at that. So there's your candle. Nice little container. So I'm sure if you dropped it, this thing would protect it. It's pretty thick. Kind of cool. I like that. This reflector, if you're out at camp and you're making some coffee or some tea, you can put this over your cup, put your bandana or your paper towel or whatever, and you can use this to filter out your tea. So you just made some bush tea, this is what you use. Put it right on top of your cup. Again, put your bandana there and pour your bush tea, and it'll stop the leaves and pine needles and all that from getting into your cup that you're going to drink out of. So this actually serves a second purpose at your camp. Here is a wax buildup. Okay, this was a candle that I made and it burned down, and as it got to the end of the life of the candle, all the wax fell down inside or over the top. I think it went down inside, and it came down, kind of came out here, and it ended up making this big mess. And I can't even twist this off. So what I've got here is I've got some boiling water, and I'm going to use a small piece of just wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the wire completely through, just like that, till it comes out the back side, and I have this little hook here. So I'm just going to lower this baby right down into the water, and I'm going to let it boil for a little bit. It doesn't take long because that water is 212 degrees. So you can see all the water in there, all the wax. We're almost there. So now you can see that this unit is a lot cleaner. It's also available to open up. You can throw that whole piece in there if you want. You can throw that piece in there. You can look inside the barrel of this, and if you still see wax, throw that in too. You can use your little hook here to reach down and extract the pieces when you feel that they're ready. So we're looking at that piece. You can see that there is no wax stuck to it no more. So you don't have to do like some crazy scrubbing or anything like that. I've heard, you know, people saying that they scrub it and all this other stuff. There's no need for that. Let the water sit, and if you want to repurpose the wax, you can. It'll solidify on the top as the temperature cools, and then you'll have that hard little wax on the top. You can repurpose that if you wish to. So folks, that's about all I have today. I want to say thank you for joining me on this video on these UCO candle lanterns. I think they're really cool. I hope you got some good useful information out of this video. Please feel free to like, comment on this video. If you like the content that you see on my channel, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And until next time folks, have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.